Yeah, we're about to begin. They made actually a very long trip from New Jersey, and we thank him for making the long trek out here. And we all know that traffic on all the arteries are horrendous. And nevertheless, it took a few extra minutes, but it was all worth it. So, why are we here to discuss something that happened by now, we're talking 70 years ago. Exactly 70 years. First of all, this is the period now that's known as the 3 weeks, and more specifically the 9 days, right before Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is the time that was destruction of both temples, both Bet HaMikdash. One was from Nebuchadnezzar and the other one the Romans. It's a very dark period of time. And on Tisha B'Av itself, it's known as the saddest day in the Jewish calendar. We know we have a mitzvah zachar, to remember. Always remember what happened and not to forget. It says what Amalek had done to you. And it's important to remember so that we have a bigger picture and a better understanding of history. In Judaism, nothing is detached, nothing is on its own. It's all interconnected. Judaism comes down from generation to generation, and so to all events. It's important that we have an understanding of a broader sense of things, not just a little quick moment in time, but it's actually a bigger picture of the Jewish history. So that's why it's important that we can have a survivor that was actually there and had experienced the unbelievable suffering and pain that was going on at that time. To hear it firsthand is different than hearing it from someone that had heard it from someone. So we have Mr. Manny Buchman to be with us, and he will share his story from a different angle than what we've heard last year or the year before, and from all the different angles we get a big picture of what actually took place. Yes, okay. Yeah, his daughter is with you.
So hi, I'm Carol Buchman Kruchiansky, and I just want to start out for 2 seconds to say that as sad as the Holocaust was, there was, what I got on a personal level as a child growing up is that these survivors, we talk about heroes, there are heroes. When they say that the Jews why didn't they go and fight? The way they survived was absolutely amazing. And my father's story is not different than any other Holocaust story. They're all amazing. And they're all about strength and courage and resilience. And as much as you talk about Zahar and sadness it is, I am so happy to see young people here today, because this story is about learning what it means that no matter what happens in life, that you have the courage and the faith and the resilience to survive. And that's what I hope you get from this, because as a child growing up, I knew my parents were different. I didn't know why. I do remember that when I was 6 years old, I walked into the library and I asked the librarian, do you have stories on the Holocaust? And her eyes popped out. What 6-year-old asked about stories on the Holocaust? And it was hard for me. My parents had an accent. My life wasn't normal. I didn't have grandparents. I was saddened. They were sad. I was sad. And I am so happy to know that my parents here are alive. My mother didn't come, but she also survived Auschwitz. And it's taken me 50 years to realize that they're my North Star, that no matter what has happened in my life, when I watch the way they have taken on life, has given me such courage. And I want today for you to look at it as not as sadness, and not only did they survive the war, but it's because of the Holocaust we have the state of Israel. And we can't forget that. And we can't take that for granted. Because Jews here in America, things are good, they're safe, the economy goes up, the economy goes down. As someone once said, it's the best of times and it's the worst of times. And we really cannot take Israel for granted. So I'm going to start out by starting to ask my father questions and guiding him. And my father is from, when he was born, it was Czechoslovakia. Then it became Hungary, and now it's the Ukraine. So it's amazing, the borders have changed. But he comes from a very small town, a shtetl, in the Carpathian Mountains. If anybody's heard of Munkach, it's a neighboring town. And war did not come until 1944. So Daddy, what was the first time when you felt you were in the Holocaust? Like, what happened? You want to start?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Good to sit, or it's easier to sit?
No, that's all right.
Want to
It's
stand
okay.
better?
Yeah, I'm all
This
right.
might be easier to leave.
That's fine.
So, my name is Manny Buchman, Menachem Mendel Buchman, and I was born in, I don't know if you people are familiar with Eastern Europe, in a little place where every couple years it changed around. Before the First World War, it was Austria-Hungary, it became Czechoslovakia, it became Hungary, and now it's Ukraine again. I know that my 8th grade school, the last 3 months, I had to learn 3 or 4 different languages. I had a sister in Israel. She made Aliyah in 1935. So she was telling me a story that my mother wrote her a letter that the kids are so confused because of this changing around. They don't know what they learn. They don't know what kind of language they don't know no languages, and they don't know nothing. And that was the truth. That was the truth. Anyway, I grew up in that little town. It was a farming town. I became 15, 16-year-old. Economy was very bad. I had to look for a job. And I had to travel 500 kilometers to Budapest, to the capital of Hungary, and there were jobs available. So I was living there for about 3 or 4 years till they took me away to a labor camp. So I would like to talk about a little bit about the day when I was in Hungary. The Hungarian people, they were always anti-Semite. They didn't have to wait for Hitler should come. They were before Hitler, big anti-Semites. I was working there for, like I said, for 4 years. And I went through hell that 4 years. As a Gentile, as a Jew, let's say, I will give you an example. 1944, a law came out that the Jews have to wear yellow stars. And I wear that and I didn't wear that. I used to deliver with a tricycle bread to the supermarkets, grocery stores, and there were a policeman, a Hungarian policeman. We didn't have red lights, so he used to stop the traffic from one side, the traffic from the other side, and he knew me from seeing me. I'm passing back and forth about 3-4 times a day, or 5 times a day, for months and years. One day, he stopped me, come just here. He says to me, "You are Jewish?" And yes, I'm Jewish. He said, what's going on with the star? Where's your yellow star? So I said to him, officer, I had a yellow star on one jacket. I don't have them. I need jacket and I need shirt. And he says to me, listen, I don't care. And how many shirts you have it? You cannot pass here where I am staying. He told me, if the authorities would know that I am not arresting you, they would kill me. I had another little accident. I was walking on the street. I wasn't afraid to walk as a Jew. A Jew couldn't be on the street. In 1944, when the Nazis took over, a Jew couldn't be on the street. I walked all the time. Once I passed an intersection, a short guy like this, with a gun like this, and a swastika. He says to me, give me papers. Papers, where are your papers? They wanted to know who I am. And I had my birth certificate with me. First name was Hungarian, and the second name Buchman. And I was born in the Carpathian Mountains. So the first question is asking me, what kind of name is Buchman? Oh, my grandfather was German. It's a German name. He liked that. And then you see, I'm from the Carpathian Mountains, so what is that? I said to him, I ran away, the Russian occupied it, and I'm going to Germany. And I said, listen, I said to him like this, you have time to bullshit around. I don't have time to bullshit around. I have to go to work. I said to him, Heil Hitler. He says to me, Heil Hitler.
You know, yes, finish this part. But
Yeah.
what I want to start with is that my father's giving you background of what Budapest was like. Before Budapest was not occupied till 1944. So already Poland was occupied, Czechoslovakia was occupied. But I want to start with the start of the war for you. Was he, as he was mentioned, was working. He was working in a bakery in Budapest, and it was a 9-hour train ride to go from his hometown back to his hometown. And he would go because his family was poor. There were 10 brothers and sisters. There wasn't much food, so he would take stuff from Budapest and come and sell it back to his hometown. So he came home for a Shabbos. It was right before Pesach of 1944. He leaves, it was after Shabbos or on a Sunday. He leaves Sunday morning.
Sunday in the afternoon I
He
left.
leaves to go back to Budapest. And his sister hears on the radio that the Nazis occupied Budapest. And she goes running to try to catch the train to tell him, don't go to Budapest. But thank God, my father got on that train, and he arrived in Budapest, and it was chaotic. Now you can tell the story.
Yeah. When I got in, the trains, a lot of trains came from all over the country. And I got off the train, and they were in microphones. Nazis, Hungarian soldiers were yelling, all the Jews to the left, all the Jews to the left. And there were a lot of Jewish people. They were going. I didn't say nothing. I just went to the exit. There was an exit door from the station. A policeman was staying there. He was checking you out. And before he's asking me, I said to him, officer, can you check me out? I have to start to work at 8 o'clock. He looks at the clock, he says to me, ran fast, it's almost 8 o'clock.
But the sad part about it is, when you forgot to mention, when he got off the train, in his hometown, he came back to Budapest, there were Jews and non-Jews. And he used to be friendly with the non-Jews. And when he got off the train...
No, wait a minute. That was...
So that was later on?
It was, no. When I was traveling with the train from my hometown to Budapest, I was traveling in the same time with some 7, 8 Gentile boys. They have some place, they had to change train in Budapest. And they were Gentiles. And I was already out. The train station was built from glasses, and those boys didn't know Hungarian. They were Ukrainian, and the police pushed them in between the Jews. And they were screaming, I heard the way they were screaming, my Ukrainian name is Menglia. In Ukrainian, I will tell you what they said. Menglia, boy, кажеш, что мы не жиды. Come in and tell them that we are not Jews.
There was no way he was going back
Not
to
so
say
fast.
that. And that's when he went to, he saw it was the clock, he went to the guy, it's 8 o'clock, I gotta go to work, and he left. And that was really the start of the war for him. This was around Pesach time of 1944. And he was working in a bakery.
And,
Oh.
all right, I was lucky. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid from nothing. I wasn't afraid if a Nazi will stop me or it's not going to stop me. I was never afraid. I was walking on the street free. A Jew wasn't on the street anymore. The Jews were in the ghetto locked in. So, in between, I had to, they took me into a labor camp. I had to register in a certain place in Hungary, in that labor camp. And I was working in that labor camp that was in southern Hungary. We were building an airport for the German Air Force. Germans, they handled everything. And I was there.
You were there for 4 months about,
But
till October of 1944.
till October. What happened? The Russians, you're familiar with the geography there, the Russians, they were advancing from east to west, and we had to leave. They took us west. They took us west, and
If you know the history, was that the Prime Minister of Hungary did not want to bow down to
I will come to that. I will come to that. I was on the run. I ran away, I was on the run. And here I heard on the news that the Prime Minister of Hungary asked for a ceasefire. No, if he's asking for a ceasefire, that means the war is over. That's what I was thinking. And I slept over there in a farm. I wanted to go to Budapest. So in the morning we got up, we heard the news, the Nazis took over the government. The Hungarian Nazi Party took over the government. I was hitchhiking then. And I was sitting close to 2 Hungarian Gentiles. And one said to the other one, if there is still a Jew alive, now we're going to finish with him. What could I do? I had to say amen. Yeah.
You know, talking about that, my father once had to make a cross sign. And he didn't, he did what he thought it was. And the woman goes, you didn't do it right. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'm from the Greek Orthodox. That's the way we do it.
So
And that's what war was about.
What happened is, We were hanging around, me and my brother, in Western Hungary. We were running around from one town to another as Gentiles. So we found a job on a farm. They hired us. And we were working there, and in the morning, I got up. I had to pray. So, I was praying in Ukrainian, which they couldn't understand anyway. And I put my hand like this, and she says to me, you are doing it wrong. And I said to him, we are the Greek Orthodox. We are doing it this way.
That's fun.
So after he was working in this labor camp, he found his way back to Budapest, but it was chaotic.
When I came back to Budapest, when I ran away from the labor camp, and that was when the Nazis occupied Hungary, I was working in a bakery which was a kosher bakery, and the super from the building, he was not just a Nazi member, he was a private chauffeur for a big shot in the Hungarian Nazi party. What he did, he used to tell us like this, you are not like the rest of the Jews. You are hard-working people, poor people. We let you live. We don't gonna do nothing to you. Since I'm talking about that man, the Nazis, when I came home from the concentration camp, I was praying to God. I said, the first thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna report them to the authorities who he is. Just when I came back, he was already arrested. He was already arrested, and those people, the Russians were ruling there, they sent them straight to Sibir.
To Siberia.
They sent them straight to Sibir, all of them. He wasn't the only one. There were a lot of such cases like them.
So anyway, he came back, he was working in a bakery, and a woman came to the bakery to say that the Nazis were coming to round up the Jews.
What happened? There was in the bakery, in a commission bakery, a Gentile lady, very nice lady. She loved us. She had a policeman. She knew a policeman. The policeman told her that tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, we're going to come and we're going to take all the Jewish men from 16 till 65 out. So me and my brother knew about that. There was a basement, the basement. We went down, and we heard that they came. We went down to the basement and we were hiding there. We were hiding, and suddenly a man came down, a Gentile building. He said that the super told them we should come up. We came up, and we were dressed in a white shirt, in a white pant, we were working at the bakery. And we came up, and there was a policeman. He didn't know about us, nothing. He says to us, he was sure that we are working in the bakery. Get the hell out from here, because you're going to come in once more, I'm going to put you between the Jews. And the super was there. He said to him, they are Jews too. Oh, they are Jews too. All right, come in the line. We were lucky he didn't do nothing. He just put us in the line. And from there, they took us. We were building bunkers for the Germans, because the Russians, they advanced, and they needed bunkers from where to hide and from where to shoot. That's what we were doing. And I was in a Hungarian labor camp. In that Hungarian labor camp, the officer who handled us, he was a very nice man. I mean, he tried to help if he could. And here, the Prime Minister declared a ceasefire. He took us, that Hungarian officer, he took us in a group like this, and he says to us like this, if it is true what I heard, there is a ceasefire, we are going home. Just, I got an order from the German army, we have to go to work. And he said to us, everybody should be very careful because the Nazis, they could take advantage the last minute and they could kill us. And I heard that the Nazis could take advantage and they could kill us. I said, oh no, I'm not going there. And I just disappeared from the group. I disappeared. And that was the time when I used to live like a Gentile, and Catholic, all kind of whatever I could do.
But let me just interrupt. In the labor, one of the labor camps he was talking about, where he was in 2 labor camps, and in the second labor camp that he was, they were building they were building for the Army airports. You were building airports,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They were building airports. He was with his brother, and he noticed that there were trolley cars leaving from this labor camp into the city. And as my father said, he wasn't scared. So his brother worked in the labor camp, and he would get onto the trolley car and go back and forth to Budapest.
Oh, that was another story.
No, it's part of this one, Mom.
Yeah.
But Daddy, that's okay. But anyway, the key thing is he wasn't scared, and he was going back and forth. And then you can talk about how a man and his son asked you to go visit to see his wife. So when he was going back and forth on his trolley car,
What happened is, as we were walking to work in the outskirts of Budapest, the trolley bus came, and he was not underground because they had underground and they had trolley buses. As we were walking to work, I used to jump on the trolley bus. We were so close. I went into Budapest, and I used to bring food. I used to deliver. And I don't know, did you hear about the Swiss citizenship paper?
with
You didn't hear
Raoul
about that?
Wallenberg.
Right.
Wallenberg. So he tried to get Jews out.
What happened is, in that place, I was together with an older man and a son from our building. Now, and the military authorities there, if anybody is a Swiss citizen, they're going to show me the papers and we let them go home.
So it was a neutral country.
So
Yes.
I came, the man asked me I should go into his wife and bring him the citizenship papers. She gave me the papers. When I came back, the father and the son never returned. Because they used to kill people for no reason at all. For no reason at all. He didn't like you. Boom, boom. They used to come back from work every day with 5, 6 people less, 10 people less.
So my father decided to take the Swiss papers, and him and his brother, they were going to be the Swiss citizens.
So we didn't have their names. They didn't know if I'm 10 years old or 50. They didn't know my name. They didn't took names, just numbers. So we came in and we told them, we let you home tomorrow morning. And it's true, they let us out the next day. Just, we had to go in a certain direction, this way, not the right way. I came to there was a train station, and when I seen that train station, an SS on each car, and they pushed us in 120 people in one car. The SS was pushing more and more and more. We didn't have air, we didn't have nothing.
This was not going to
So
Switzerland.
they said, the SS said, we're gonna open every day the car. We know we have here 120 people. If one of them is gonna miss, there is gonna be a capital punishment. What was the capital punishment? They took the 100 people, they put one line, they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, boom, they kill them. And there was a line from about 100 people, they killed 100 people. They killed 10 people. Me and my brother, we wanted to jump the first night from that place. And there were some older ladies, they started to scream, I'm not gonna get killed because of you. They were afraid, they're gonna come, there is not gonna be enough people. They will kill them. So we were on that car for 10 days. No water, no food, no air. People were dying. They used to stop the train just to throw out the dead bodies. So when the ladies who were screaming, they didn't let us jump from the train, they didn't care anymore.
It was after 10 days.
They didn't care anymore. So me and my brother.
Wait, one little thing. This was December of 1944, and it was Hanukkah. And Rabbi, you would be proud that in midst of everybody dying and everything happening, a father and a son decided to light candles.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. There, in the same car, we had a rabbi and a son, and I don't know where they took, they had Hanukkah candles, and we were singing their Maul Sur Yoshua for 8 days. Lighting candles, Hanukkah candles. And
Was everyone on the train Jewish?
Yes, on this
This train was only Jews.
train was only Jews, yes. I mean, you know when they refer to the cattle cars?
Yeah.
This was a train going to Buchenwald concentration camp.
And they didn't care about your Swedish citizenship?
No, it was all,
nah,
that was
everybody.
garbage.
They knew it was a...
Yeah, that was the way to get them all to come to the train station.
Boy.
And as I say, this train wasn't going to Switzerland, this train was going to Buchenwald. And that's how the Nazis played with you.
So what happened, me and my brother decided we're gonna jump out from the train. And we had, didn't care even if we die. When the train was running, we jump out, you can get killed.